in the work world, you can, if you're a hard ass and you're making everyone work long hours, but you yourself, you're working like 4 hours a day, taking vacations every week, everyone's going to freaking hate your guts. Right. But if you push hard hours and you make everyone work hard, but you yourself, you work harder than all of them, then you're inspirational.
Welcome back to the High Ticket AI Systems Podcast. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Mr. Jesse McFarland. Jesse, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Now, can you give the audience just some quick context as to, who you are, what the company does, and who you guys serve best?
Yeah, I own an agency. It's a marketing agency, specifically an SEO agency. We're located in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. Yeah, we focus on, SEO and AI search. Our primary people that we work with is we have basically three niches. Niche is
Always so,
uh
yeah.
B2Bs, fitness and then e-commerce. So it's still kind of general. We're working on even slimming that down a little bit, but that's who we currently serve. We're relatively new. This is our third year of, so we opened in January of 2023. I myself been doing SEO and digital marketing. SEO was the first thing I learned how to do. So it's been 18 years. So definitely seasoned on this world. And then yeah, just opened this agency 3.5 years ago, and it's been growing and going great. So
Agency has been up and running 3.5 years, but you mastered the skill over the course of 18. Did you work with previous agencies in the past, or I guess what does that look like?
yeah, so my kind of going even the way back machine, like my first career was in fitness, and I was a personal trainer. I ran a health club and stuff like that. And then I opened my own gym or my own online fitness business. And through that, I was like kind of really obsessed with like how to do the marketing part. And this is like 2006 or seven ish when I was doing this. So like, a long time ago, and I was learning how to do like SEO. I didn't even know that was what it's called. I was trying to get shown up on Google, and I just kind of got more obsessed with it. And I enjoyed working on that than actually doing training and personal training, which was what my business was. And
Interesting.
so I made a career shift, and I joined an SEO agency at the bottom of the of the food chain in that world, and started to learn, and that's how I started my career, basically.
I love fitness. I, work out 5, 6 times a week, and I imagine you're probably similar. What about SEO interests you more about like training and working out and being a PT or personal trainer? That's actually very interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just for one, like I always kind of was anti-technology. Like I had a trouble just turning on my computer when I was out of college, dialing it, like getting on the internet, like everything was hard for me. And I think once for one, I started, I went back to school to get my MBA. So at that time I was getting my MBA at night, and a lot of the classes that we were on was a lot of like technology and upcoming stuff. And I just got obsessed with marketing, and I started learning more and more on it. And I think it was just, I just got obsessed with learning something brand new, something that I was really weak at previously, to, challenging myself and learning something new. And then once I started, what really got me was, I was outperforming like for personal training in a city. I was in Portland, Oregon at this time. I ranked number one for personal training in Portland, and my competitors were like 24 Hour Fitness and all these other bigger businesses, because I learned how to do it and on my own. And so that was a massive thing. I was like, man, maybe I'm really good at this, or but really what it was is no one else knew how to do it. And I was just learning on my own. And really because of that, that's how I got a job with no real experience at an agency. Cause, I was able to do that for my own business.
For sure. And maybe even subconsciously you realized like the internet's the future, marketing might be the future, this SEO
Yeah.
might be the future. Like, let me actually take a stab at this. It turns out I'm actually kind of good, right? So it makes total sense.
Yeah, and that you're probably spot on right there. Now I think about it, that's one of the other reasons too. Is like I knew this was the future, and no one else was doing it well or understood it, and so I thought the opportunity was just it was just a great timing.
For sure. Now, over the course of 18 years, my man, I mean, I'm sure you probably thought about or at least maybe picked up a skill outside of SEO. Business has been
Oh yeah.
operating for 3.5 years, but you've really niched down the services of SEO and AI SEO. How has that benefited you, and why not do Google PPC or Facebook Meta ads, TikTok ads, whatever that customers are asking you for?
Yeah. So one thing my career kind of like, expanded beyond that. So I started in a SEO agency, but then, my next agency, I was like Google AdWords. And then I worked in like, uh, bigger agencies where I was covering all digital marketing services. And then I worked on client side. I worked at bigger corporations, and then became a marketing leader, um, where I was, not doing any of the actual marketing. I was just managing a big team. And so I've learned how, just from being around in digital marketing for so long, I've gone up the corporate ladder. So I was even got the CMO position that I always thought I wanted, um, before I started this agency. And so my skill set, I had started with SEO and then expanded to pretty much everything else. And I always appreciated SEO. One, maybe I was a little biased because it's the first one I learned, but I always understood that this is something that if we do now, it'll pay off in the long run, and it just builds, it accrues, and does nothing but help your brand. Whereas advertising and all these other things, especially like when I was a marketing leader, everything was about how much marketing can we do inside of our budget. And advertising is like you spend $100,000, as soon as that $100,000 is gone, then it's done for the year, right? And then it's like, okay, now we're getting nothing. Whereas SEO just continues to accumulate. So that's why I've always appreciated it, and always valued it. And a lot of times it just gets overlooked because businesses and companies they want return today or
Yes.
tomorrow, right? They want to wait a month, 3 months, 6 months. But when you can actually show them the value long term of like, hey, next year you're going to be rolling, and if you can prove that, then they could really see the value. So I've always understood that, and I just take that as like a challenge to help other business owners or marketing leaders understand that too.
It's kind of funny because us entrepreneurs, like we go into business for ourselves because we understand the long-term benefits of being a
Hmm.
business owner, right? But when it comes to investing into marketing, we freaking forget that principle that
Yeah,
sometimes there's going to be a long tail, outcome or a long tail win, opposed to I pay you now, I get results later today.
right.
I'm probably guilty of this as well. I'm sure I am, but it's just funny that SEO is like probably one of the best things you can do for your company because again long term when you're ranking first page if not on the first page for a couple different websites, um obviously you're gonna be rolling in the dough you know
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just if you look at it as an expense, if you look at marketing as expense, that's a hard mindset to overcome. If you look at it
Right.
as an investment for your business and you understand it's long term, now you probably will be successful. Whatever you're paying for, understanding it's a long term benefit, right?
100%.
So investment versus expense is how I would try to explain it.
For sure. And then so take us back a little bit before 3.5 years ago, what was the pivotal moment to where you're like, dude, I'm branching off on my own. Like I trust myself. I have this skill. Like I'm being an entrepreneur. I'm actually gonna do this thing. Like, how was that shift for you?
Yeah. So when I got in the corporate world and I was going up the corporate ladder, it was always like that next promotion, that next salary bump, or picking or leaving the business I am now to go to another business because they offer like equity or so I got trapped in that game.
Mm.
Um, and it was great. I was making a lot, really good money. And my family really appreciated it because I had a relatively new family. Um, and it was awesome in that sense, but I really hated the work. I hated like, um, the more I became like a marketing leader, I understood that, man, stuff takes forever to get done, especially in the corporate world. There's always people like, come up with a great idea and then they're like, okay, I'm going on PTO for the next 2 weeks, or I'm taking you know, a sabbatical or whatever that is. Like, it's like, geez, great, awesome. We'll just not start it until you get back. Now everyone has the right to do that, but it just meant like we had the pressure of always deliver results, but there was always things in the way for us to achieve it. Right. And then when we did achieve something, uh, like we hit our goal or whatever that is, then the next quarter, the goal would be like, okay, we're going to make that 20% higher. And by the way, you have no more we're not increasing your resources. In fact, we're going to reduce your resources
Right.
because the economy is tough or whatever that is. And I'm just like, okay, this is like it's just a constant, never ending issue. And it's like that, every company that I worked with and pretty much every company that I've sold marketing to, that's pretty much the common theme, right? It's like, it's just never ending. And so to me, I just got sick with that. When I finally I got a CMO position, I quit after 4 weeks.
Holy,
Um,
wow.
yeah, I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I got this title I thought I always wanted. Um, and it's totally bogus, man. Like this is the exact same problems. It's nothing that's different. I'm going to start my own business. I've always kind of wanted to in the back of my head anyway. I knew I could do it. Um, I had the confidence to start and I just rolled with it.
Gotcha, man. No, hats off to you. Did you have any fear or like, I guess any doubt, any worry that, you weren't gonna make it, or you had just the utmost belief in yourself?
At that point, I had a lot of belief in myself. Like I said, I've always had it in the back of my mind, and I would try to talk myself into it maybe like 10, 15 years ago at times. And then I would just get scared, or I'd be like, well, like I can't quit my job now because we just bought a house, or I can't quit my job now because we just had a kid, or like, there's always something like that. Right. Um, but at this point, I was like, nah, I'm just doing it. I had a network of people that I knew that would work with me right away, and they did. So I was able to actually hit the ground running with actually being paid, which was super helpful. And yeah, I didn't have any doubt in my mind that I was going to make it successful. The question was how successful. I knew it was going to be enough to pay my bills and give me everything I wanted, like freedom and be able to spend time with my family, not to work on weekends and stuff like that. But how successful, I wasn't sure. But we're rolling and everything's awesome. So can't complain.
Awesome, man. Let's talk about, you actually being successful from or on behalf of the client. When you think about, the best work you've done, like a case study, which industry do you feel like typically gets the best results? And if you want to name drop and like give results, you totally can if that's cool with you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it kind of depends. Like local SEO is always the easiest because especially like with gyms and fitness, those are really easy for us to be successful. Just because we understand the process is very similar to make a gym win, whether you're in
Mm,
Dallas, Texas, or Miami, Florida, or maybe some small town in Iowa. The process is very similar on how you win there. So for us, that's an easy industry. More challenging ones would be like maybe the B2Bs because B2B is for us very general. Could be a SaaS company with a software that was just created that no one's ever heard of. And then we got to help, educate the brand and educate their target audience, find who that targeted audience is, educate it. So there's a lot more involved there. Or it could be like maybe a professional service, in a very flooded area or industry or whatever. So the challenges in the B2B space are it's a lot more involved. And so it's more than this SEO that we offer. It's more like half of it's probably a digital marketing strategy to help your brand grow, because it's more than just ranking on Google on your phone. Like, I'm on this side of Denver, is there any gyms close by? Right. Versus like, we're trying to educate an audience on a new software that this company offers. It's a completely different strategy. So, but it's fortunately I came from the BD area a lot, and we're really good at that. But it just takes longer than it would for gyms, for example.
For sure. I want to bring up something that you said about it's a repeatable process. I kind of call this the flywheel effect. So
Hmm.
essentially, you do niche down and you niche down into three verticals, which is hats off to you. Some guests I speak with are just some companies out there work with like 25. And I'm like, to me, that doesn't make any sense, but to each their own. Anyways, when you are working with gym companies, you essentially have this, or gyms, you have this avatar, right? This one avatar that you can help. And typically, they
Yeah.
come to you with the exact same problems, right? And on the sales process, you can identify those problems, you can explain those problems almost better than they can because that is the only avatar you work with. Cool. Now, when it comes to solving these problems, you solve it more or less the exact same way that you've done for the last 10, 15, 100, 200 freaking clients that you've actually helped in this space. Cool.
Yeah.
And because you're dialing in this process, you've done it so many freaking times that allows you to get better results for your clients. And with better results, you can get better case studies, which what helps marketing land even better and bigger clients, right? So I love niching down for that exact reason, because again, it becomes a flywheel effect. Whenever you work with 25 different companies or 25 different verticals, it's almost impossible to master fulfillment or master the sales process for those 25 at one point in time. Now, I'm not saying you can't start with one and then go to two and then go to three, but you've done this over 18 years, right? Like, you've been in the game for a while, which allows you to actually go out there and do that. With B2B services, because I'm a B2B guy, right? What I've realized is that it does take a lot longer because it's not, in Denver, or it's not in Salt Lake City where I'm based out of. It's
Hmm.
nationwide, if not globally. So what are the few nuances between working with a gym in Denver versus working B2B? So whenever you do approach that digital marketing strategy, like, what's all entailed with that?
Um, yeah, I guess it's probably the most important part is understanding the ideal customer for the prospect or the client. So who their ideal customer is.
Yeah.
Um, that's if we can really be good at that, then everything else kind of works itself out, right? So we can create an SEO strategy that's fairly consistent on how we do SEO. When that ideal customer or that avatar, like you said before, is fuzzy, that's where it makes it really, really challenging, right? And so in the gym world, it's super easy because it's like, okay, either, you know, are you like a general gym? Are you like, do you only work with athletes? Are you weight loss? You only work with women? Great. Like, the avatar, figuring out who that is relatively easy. It's always a struggle, or not always, but it can be a struggle often with B2Bs because yeah, a lot of most B2B companies, they think they have like an ideal customer profile, but it might be unproven, or might be might be well, that's what Joe created in his go-to-market plan like 2 years ago. Like, right. Is there any proof to that? Or like, did you guys do anything with it? Like, and so that's where it gets kind of tricky. And so when they don't have that set in stone, we help them create that. And that just slows down the SEO machine a little bit, because without knowing who that is, it's just hard to be successful when it comes to like having like an ROI as far as like generating leads and revenue and sales and stuff. So.
Yeah, because you don't even know who you're targeting, right? You don't even
Yeah.
feel like you know what kind
Yeah.
of picture. It's
Now, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, most SEO agencies will just go whatever the keyword volume is, right? And
totally
that's great for like traffic or
brand awareness.
rankings, yeah, and awareness. But our goal, we're a conversion based SEO agency. We don't care about that nearly as much. Those are all secondary KPIs. We care about generating in B2B leads
Right.
or sales or, a reason to keep them because we understand that's every marketing person and any B2B, that's how they're being measured by being successful. And so we want to help them to achieve that. So,
Absolutely, and same for our marketing agency on our side. Like, cool, we can worry about clicks, we can worry about traffic, but like, is that driving actual revenue? The answer is
right.
probably not, right? We care about the conversion process. Um, I think, and I mean, you can testify more than I can because you're in the space, but I think like globally, across the board, all SEO companies have realized that the overall traffic or clicks have been down, but the conversion per click, the that percentage right there has increased thanks to AI or AI overviews or LLMs. So with that being said, how do you kind of like how are you guys taking advantage of that? And over the next 12, 24 months, or even 6 months with the way that AI is changing that fast, what direction are you guys going towards? What do you feel like is changing the most?
Yeah. I mean, we're all in on AI search. And so we understand that, in the old days, we would, as long as we were doing all the best practices for Google in our client's goals, then we know we were going to be successful. Now it's like, it's Google plus all these other AI platforms like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Cloud or whatever. So yeah, so we're very active on you know getting seen and building brand or AI visibility for our customers. We have a process, but the crazy thing is that process is constantly changing. And usually like a process might change every year or two or maybe year. Now it's just changing like every month on how we do things.
Yeah,
So creating SOPs in our company right now is like a complete nightmare because this is how we did everything last month. We're throwing that away. This is how we're doing everything this month, right? Because it's just things are changing literally that fast, right? And so that's basically the challenge, and that's what kind of makes it interesting. As long as we keep staying ahead, then we'll be fine. And I think this is what makes us stick out is because we have this reputation of being able to achieve that, and that we're conversion focused, right? That's really been helpful for us because a lot of agencies can't keep up. And so that's been very beneficial for us. And I would say that's going to continue for us. But yeah, in the next, I don't know, 12, 24 months, I would just expect that just things might change more, even more to AI search and less Google possibly. However, I wouldn't be surprised that another curveball comes out of nowhere of something that we didn't think of and completely flips all that upside down. And then we have to learn something else new. Right. So, um, yeah, it's really hard to say. We're just trying to keep up of like, how do we stay ahead like this year or this quarter specifically? Cause things are changing so fast.
for sure. And I'm not sure if you find this to be true, but Google has updates and they like to send out, oh, here's the latest update with XYZ, right? And then you follow best practices and it did not turn out how Google said it was. So it's like they're literally telling you the SOP, but to actually get results for what they want here, you have to do the opposite.
Hmm.
Do you find that to be true? Why do you
Oh
find
yeah.
that, dude? Like, it's like they're tricking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they give you maybe some best practices of what, and now the way you look at it is they give you best practices for maybe a general population or general base or whatever that is of like, those are the best practices when that paper or that thing was created. That doesn't mean it's best practices today. That doesn't mean they're the best practices for your B2B software business with a software that no one's ever heard of, right? And
Right.
so that's the thing, man. So it's not the exact same science for every single avatar or customer in our circumstance. So yeah, a lot of it kind of depends, and there's always a difference too. Whether are you a startup and you have like no brand visibility and you're starting from ground zero, or you like a super established, you're like a leader in your field, or if you're somewhere in the middle. All three of those things are completely different avatars. Even if you're in the same industry, you have completely different challenges. So, so yeah, a paper or asking ChatGPT how to do SEO for my business today, that all that information is you can't really rely on it, right? And so there's just a lot more to it.
Oh, for sure. I want to kind of pivot a little bit. I know, being the former CMO, even though it was for 4 weeks, now running your own business, having employees, being a leader, right? What do you feel like were the biggest challenges at first with that, and what do you feel like you've gotten well over or well at over the years when it comes to like being a leader of a company?
Yeah, I think like by the time I was a CMO, I hadn't done any real marketing in the trenches for years at that point because I had a team of people that are doing it. I was doing more corporate stuff like strategy and then working with sales and a lot of freaking meetings and all that other boring stuff that I started to dislike. So I had to like reteach myself on how to, when I opened a business, of how to do SEO. And because I was one doing it at the very beginning, and probably for the first year, I was doing everything, and I learned really quickly. I relearned everything I learned in the past. By year two, like I hired someone part time, and then AI happened, and then I had to learn that, right? And like I was like, geez, this is insane. And then I started hiring more people, more people, and more people, and AI continues to change. So, yeah, it's a being a leader for us being small is like I was able to show like this is how I do it. You can bring your strengths, but this is how we're doing it at this agency. However, if you can find a way to do it better than I can, please by all means show me how and let's test it, right? And so like having a leader that's actually doing some of the work or has a strategy know-how, I think really helps as far as at least a business at my stage now of like really growing in a right direction. Whereas you're just versus, I could come in and just have not know anything and just tell everyone, hey, we didn't make this happen, go figure that out. That's really hard to do.
Yes,
Um, I already have that knowledge of how to do most of it. Um, I just need a team to help me fill the gaps. So
for sure. I like what you said about like being in the trenches and like learning like with your team. I'm sure you played sports growing up. I played baseball for a long time, like
yeah,
15, 16 years. My summer coach for travel ball, he was an asshole, but I freaking loved him. Okay. He
mm,
was high praise. Like if you did something well, he let you know. If you messed up, he also let you know that you freaking messed up. But
yeah,
whenever it came to workouts and like strength training, he would give us the toughest workouts, but he was right there with us, like doing the freaking workouts. And he's like,
yeah.
not a 16-year-old kid. Um, and it just, I sure, were the workouts tough? Yes. But did I respect him as a leader and as a man? Absolutely. Because he's in the trenches, not saying, hey, do this and figure it out. But it's like, hey, we're going to figure it out together, or we're going to work our ass off together. And like, I hope that my team views me as that type of leader when it comes to like, we're going to figure it out together. We're all going to work hard. It's all going to suck, but like, we're going to see the mountain. We're going to see the sunrise on the beach together, you know? And I feel like some
That's
leaders
it. Yeah.
go for it.
I
Go ahead.
believe in that too, because I came from sports. Inspiration is everything, right? So like in the work world, you can, if you're a hard ass and you're making everyone work long hours, but you yourself, you're working like 4 hours a day, taking vacations every week, everyone's going to freaking hate your guts. Right.
Yes.
But if you push hard hours and you make everyone work hard, but you yourself, you work harder than all of them, then you're inspirational. Right. And so that's a big difference. So yeah, I try to be that same way. And probably like you, I learned that from sports, specifically.
Did you play baseball growing up? We all see the Giants thing right there.
Yeah. I'm a baseball fan, but I play basketball. So like that was my sport. I did play baseball till like high school. And then I was like, basketball's way better for me. I'm way more suited for that.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Were you like shooting, point guard, or?
I was
Okay.
small forward. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah.
Right on, right on. Jesse, looking over your career, my friend, I wish we had more time, but we'll end on this note here. Over your career, personal life, professional life, what do you feel like has been the single best piece of advice that you've received? And it is a deep question, so you can take your time.
Um, the best, I think what I struggled with, probably because I did a career change in my late 20s from fitness to marketing. Um, and I went from like when I was in fitness, I kind of relied on how I looked, and like, cause I played basketball in college. I was an athlete. I was strong. I was fit. People just immediately gave me credibility and trust. Right. Um, and then when I changed my career and I would start from ground zero, it was like, no one cared about that. People cared about like how smart you are. And I think I struggled with confidence in this, because like I kind of, maybe I consider myself a dumb jock, and now I'm trying to be in a technology world, trying to stay ahead and be intelligent and so forth. And so I knew I was smart. I just had a hard time of showing that. And one of my mentors, probably around my mid 30s or something like that, um, and he was my boss, and he was like, you need to learn how to advocate for yourself,
Mm.
and not just do the work, put your head down and work hard, but tell people that, yes, I achieved that, or look what I created and stuff like that. And that kind of sounds kind of selfish the way I said it, but it gave me, when I started doing that a little bit, people started to notice me. And that's how I started getting promoted pretty quickly. And I was just being more vocal. And I think why that was so important for me is it completely boosted my confidence. And then it helped me move up the corporate ladder. And then eventually, because I was so confident in this world, that, I can go to, the CEO of a $1 billion company and talk about marketing without sweating now. Right. When I got to that point, then I was like, starting my own agency is freaking easy. Right. And so
Right.
that to me was probably the one that I always think of that as like, the advice, because I was always a hard worker, but it was whether or not, like, I'm working here in my office in Denver, but my boss who's in Atlanta or Pittsburgh or whatever, he or she is not going to see me working my ass off here on my computer in Denver. Right. So if I show them things like what we completed or what I completed specifically, or if it came from me and stuff like that, um, that just really helped me. So advocating for yourself is probably the biggest thing I've learned.
No, that is actually great, great advice. I can relate to the whole jock learning in a tech or going to a technology world nowadays and like trying to portray yourself as confident and smart. Absolutely can relate to that.
Mhm.
Jesse, where can they find you if they wanted to explore more of your work, or at least, shoot the shit with you?
Yeah. So, you can find my business. We just search on Google or ChatGPT or wherever you want, SpearPoint Marketing. But I also am very active on LinkedIn. That's at Jesse McFarland. So I have a really strong following there, and I post stuff regularly on SEO and other stuff. So, yeah, LinkedIn and my website, can at SpearPoint Marketing. Easy to find.
Amazing. Thanks again for hopping on, my man. It was a great conversation. Truly.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Audience, till next time.